Ruben is safe. He's been given the vote of confidence. Yes, but for how long? Ultimatum on top of Ruben getting that vote of confidence. We're going to talk about what has been said, what Manchester United stand to lose because of Ruben's approach to the Premier League. Now, we can't put everything on Ruben in terms of how other Premier League performances have gone from months before this season, but the approach from Manchester United this season in the Premier League, when we've got to the last stages of the Europa League, has been called into question. I'm going to go through the finances of what that is going to cost Manchester United. I'll bring you updates on Antony, on Jadon Sancho, transfer news as well, with United looking at another forward from the Premier League. We've already spoken about him. It's Semeno again. I got an update on him also, and all of the other news regarding Manchester United's business approach to this final as well. Some laughable stuff coming out of Manchester United. We'll get into that as well. Good morning, everyone. Welcome along to Forever United TV. I'm Adam. If you didn't already know, if your first time watching here on Forever United TV, just get involved in the chat. Have your say. Join in the best community on YouTube. Give me your thoughts on all of the Manchester United topics. We bring you fully up to date with all of the overnight news and early morning news to set you up for your day so you miss nothing. No scrolling through social media. We've got you covered in detail here. And we're starting with what we were talking about yesterday morning regarding Ruben Amorim and how he feels, how he looks to obviously change Manchester United. Big changes, being brave in the transfer window this summer and making the necessary chops. I think he was alluding to more. Now, we were all talking about whether or not Ruben Amorim lasts. We went into it a little bit last night. It's a little concerning at the moment, but David Ornstein came up with an update on top of what we said last night from what Sully, our man on the ground, said regarding Ruben Amorim being backed. Now, the Mirror ran with a story last night saying that Ruben's under review after the season finishes. Not the case. David Ornstein. We didn't believe that the Mirror was right on this one, and David Ornstein said last night there is no immediate plans to get rid of Ruben Amorim. He will be backed in the summer, and he will be given players that he can implement into his style of play and his system. They want to fully back his vision and what he wants at Manchester United. That from David Ornstein. So what we can say is Ruben Amorim is going nowhere at the moment, and he's safe in his job, even if we don't win the Europa League final. The implications of the Europa League final we'll go into in a minute. But how confident are you as a Manchester United fan with Ruben Amorim right now? I put a poll up there asking how many players Manchester United need to add to their starting 11. Now, this is players that come right in. Forget your squad players and players bought in for small amounts of money that are going to be used in a rotation or anything like that. I'm talking how many players Manchester United have to add to their starting lineup. So the biggest games of the season, and that's your best team. How many players do Manchester United need to add to that this summer? You've got a few options there. 2, 3, 4 or more. I was a poet and I knew it. No, it's... Oh, fuck, the balls that up as well, didn't I? Sorry. Anyway, just trying to lighten the mood a little bit this morning because it does feel kind of negative around Manchester United right now. Barbecues if we win the Europa League and all of that jazz. Oh... I do. That's what I was laughing at the top of the show. We'll talk about that soon. But their approach to the ticketing situation for the final is what we're talking about later on. But yeah, Ruben Amorim, from what Ornstein said, very, very clear on the stance of Manchester United. We knew this all along anyway. There has been no talk of Ruben Amorim. The only talk of Ruben Amorim and his job has been the concern from pundits, from the fan base, and basically Manchester United being 17th in the table by the end of this season. Now, what does that do to Manchester United? I will come into the chat as well very, very shortly on this as well. I want to get you involved as quickly as possible this morning. So if you have got anything to say, drop it in, please, everybody. So, Manchester United, going off last year's figures as an example of where we finish in the Premier League, it's approximately 3 million per position in the league table. Now, Manchester United last season in finishing 8th, they've received approximately 35 million quid from the Premier League for finishing 8th in the league. Shambolic, horrible season for Manchester United. Now break that down to where we are now, and this is the concern. David Ornstein saying Ruben Amorim is going to be backed, but Ruben Amorim's approach to the Premier League and just forgetting about the Premier League could cost Manchester United dearly. And the significance of the Europa League final will be clear after I've just brought through these figures now for you. But Manchester United last season won about approximately 35 million for their position in the league. Now, you take off all of the money for every position down, and 17th, and you take the value off, Manchester United stand to make 12 million quid this season in their finishing position in the Premier League. It is not enough. If I said to you, 12 million quid for Manchester... No, when you look at it... Actually, no, I'm trying to think of the sums right now. It's approximately that anyway. I think it is anyway. But, yeah, that's what Man United will stand to win. It's approximately 23 million quid less than what we got last season. And if United don't win the Europa League, that's 23 million quid less than last season with no European football to try and balance books and finances at Manchester United. If United win the Europa League final, they stand to make an extra 12 million-ish in total. That's 12 million quid, which is pretty much going to cover half of the drop in Premier League places this season. The only thing keeping Manchester United up is the fact that we have got Champions League money going into next season's finances to help us out and to help Manchester United sort of balance everything out financially. But that stat alone, that is staggering. We are 23 million down. So if United do not win the Europa League final, we don't get that fee, which is approximately 12 million. We get some, but not as much. We lose 23 million quid on last year's Premier League standings in terms of the money we've won there. And we lose 10 million quid off the Adidas deal as well, which obviously happens if United are not in the Champions League for 2 years straight, which everybody knows about. So there's 10 million lost there. From last season alone, and how bad that was, Manchester United are 33 million down. Now, obviously, we've got winnings from the Europa League this season, and apparently United have won approximately 20, I think it's 25 to 30 million already this season. So you could say participating to the latter stages of the Europa League has helped out a little bit, but let's not forget that falls into complete insignificance for what Manchester United got last season in the Champions League places, and just finishing in the group stage, for instance, we still earned more money there. So we are massively down financially. Manchester United's cuts from Ineos and everything on top of that is basically covering what we're losing from last season in terms of the finances. But no Adidas deal and no European football, more significantly, is the worry for Ruben Amorim. And he has taken this approach to the Premier League over the last couple of months with resting players. And look, you could have probably said that Ruben Amorim would have played his best team and he would have still lost in these Premier League games. And you probably got a point on that there. But I'm saying that Ruben is safe and he's going to be backed. And I'm going off what David Ornstein is saying here. But he's got one shot. It is all or nothing. And it's this transfer window and the start of next season. Because Ruben Amorim himself has said it. We don't even need to say that he's really got an ultimatum. I think it's quite clear. His grace period is over. He's blown the Premier League completely out. He's put all his eggs firmly in the Europa League basket. If we win it, it looks like we've just about salvaged ourselves and we can reset a little bit. But we're still covering a lot of losses already from what we had last season. So down on the Premier League, Champions League money goes to covering that. Obviously, Manchester United need to make some sales to balance the books even further with players out of this football club, and we'll get onto that in a moment as well. But Ruben Amorim has got one shot to try and make this work, and that's this transfer window. And I've said this before, and I've asked this question to many live chats before as well. There is a part of me that wants to see Manchester United not succeed in the Europa League. Now, that's just something subconsciously going on in the back of my mind. Of course, I want Manchester United to win the Europa League, but would this be the significant developments? Manchester United finishing 17th, no trophies, massive amounts of money lost in the Premier League. Would this be the moment where United just said, right, we have to sell these players? They cannot hang on anymore. Would this force the arm of Manchester United to act upon what we've actually got here right now? They're going to have to move players on. If these players are moaning and bitching like we heard about Andre Onana regarding his pay cut for not being in the Champions League and things like this, then I'm sorry, you're going to have to do what's necessary. And this is what Ruben Amorim was talking about. He said it might not actually be a good thing being in the Champions League next season. I can understand him. I can. This team is not capable of playing in the Champions League. They haven't got the quality or the mentality for it. He's worried about his Premier League standing, and these players not being able to play in Europe and in the Premier League and handle both is staggering, for one, with the money that we're actually on. 7th highest wage bill in European football, 3rd highest in the Premier League. Obviously, that's going to change dramatically come the summer because of the cuts that are going to be made to just Antony, Sancho and Marcus Rashford alone. You add Casemiro to that, Lindelof and Eriksen, Johnny Evans, then it's going to come right down. United's wage bill will be a lot lower. And all of that being said, still, it is massively drastic in terms of the measures United are going to have to take if we are not in the Europa League. Maybe that is for the greater good. That's all we're saying. But Ruben Amorim is actually saying give the job to somebody else. If this is the culture and the mentality and we're playing exactly the same way come the start of the season, he's giving up, basically, is how I read the press conference yesterday. And so that question that I've posed in the chat right now, and that poll that's running, how many first 11 players do Manchester United actually need to make it to the top 6? Because we reported yesterday as well, that's United's target going into next season. Top 6 football for Manchester United. That's where we need to be. So, when I looked at the poll, let's have a look right now. Keep voting on this as well, everybody. You've got 2, 3, 4 or more. 69% of you right now have said Manchester United need more than 4 players in the starting 11 to even get into the top 6. So that's the fan base speaking right now. And that's everybody watching this show this morning alone, just saying that's what Manchester United need as a minimum requirement to actually get into the top 6. I've got to say, and I've got to be honest right now, this is just coming from me, I'm not confident at all in these players. I feel like the reset needs to be forced. I never want my side to lose. But there is a part of me that will feel like this is what they deserve if they don't win this final. And this is what everyone at Manchester United deserves if we don't win this final. I'm going to have to sit through the pain and the shame of what my football team and what my football club has done over the last 10 years, and I'll have to take the banter and everybody laughing at Manchester United. It's going to be horrible. I'll feel absolutely dead next Wednesday if United do not win that final. I will be demoralised beyond all belief, and I think we're going to have to all come together on a show afterwards and the next day and just really, as a fan base, suffer together with this. But maybe it is for the greater good and Manchester United. And I said last night, didn't I, that we need to get rid of players desperately more than we do need to bring players in, because it's the same players that are constantly letting this side down. It's embarrassing that we've got Louis van Gaal players, Jose Mourinho players and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer players still at the top of our list, starting games for Manchester United. From what Ralph Rangnick said and what we went through yesterday into detail on that open heart surgery and where Manchester United are at, maybe we need to force this change. And clinging on and papering over these cracks constantly, I feel sorry for Ruben at the same time in doing it. I want him to win the Europa League so we can really invest the money on the right players. But the one thing I did say all along, and the beauty of this season, and the only thing that's good about this season, is if we win the Europa League, we have still shown, and everybody can see how crap this team is in the Premier League. We'll have extra money to spend, and Manchester United are still going to approach the summer the same way. I pray that we look at this right now with United actually needing to make changes like we've not won the Europa League. Even if we win the Europa League, I want us to still have the same mindset going into the summer. It has to be, otherwise we're just going to die. I think we're just going to completely fall down the same roads that we have done the last 10 years. It's just going to be a continuation, again, rinse and repeat, same players still here. They've had moments, but they are all moment players. Every single one of them, you could say, are moment players. Some more consistent than others. And some shining lights in the likes of Ahmad coming through. Possibly a couple of young players coming through. But everyone else, you're talking first-team players here. Like Bruno Fernandes had a bad game the other day. And Bruno Fernandes, he's up for sale. We covered this yesterday. There are talks going on this week with representatives from Al Hilal and Bruno Fernandes' representatives. If United are looking to do a complete reset, it means everybody in this team. It does. I haven't got a problem with Bruno Fernandes staying. I really don't. I think he has been one player that's stood up and been counted over the years. And we've had this conversation many a times now. I don't want to go into it too much. But if you were going to do a full reset, you're talking Maguire, you're talking Dalot, you're talking Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro, Rashford, Sancho, Antony, Eriksen, Lindelof, Luke Shaw, Onana. I'm selling 11 players that this season have walked in at some point into Manchester United starting 11. That's the significant, brutal, brave change that Ruben Amorim was talking about. Nothing else is going to make any other Manchester United fan stand up and go, whoa. Now that is significant. That's the sort of they're the measures I feel Manchester United are going to have to go through to get anybody convince anybody, about them moving forward. And yeah, it's a nightmare because you have to replace all them players, and you can't do it all in one summer. I get it, but you can make some significant changes. You really can make some big ones. And honestly, the problem United have got is, again, like you hear me talking about this, everyone agrees with what I'm saying with so many players that need to go. But the problem is moving these players out because of the contracts that were handed out. Now, apparently in that Athletic report from last night, it was Avram Glazer who did the deal for Casemiro as well. And some people at Manchester United, and this was reported from the Athletic, so this is genuine, some people at Manchester United actually thought, and we're very, very sceptical on this, and we're surprised that even Joe Glazer vetoed that and said that this was okay. Absolutely ludicrous how Manchester United have been run. And that alone absolutely scared the shit out of me when I seen that report coming in. Let's get into the chats. Let's start off with the couple of super chats that have come in already. One from Manny, first of all. If club doesn't back Amorim and are laying down ultimatum, then I hope he walks and we get relegated. United is a basket case, and Amarin needs at least 2 seasons to get near top 6. Only if he's backed. Get your wallets out. That says there, like Manny's saying there, that United need 2 seasons. Amarin needs 2 seasons to get top 6. 2 seasons if he's not back. So it shows you how significant amount of spending needs to be made this summer. And if it is through selling players, then these players have to go. These players have to be sent on their way to make room and raise funds for other players to come in. How they do it, I don't know. That's the problem. And that's what always comes back and hits me back square in the face. We've got to do this, we've got to do that. Shut up. How are you going to get rid of him? Look at the wages he's on. Look at the contract. He's never going to go. This is the problem Manchester United have created themselves. And Ruben's are going to be the one that falls for it again. And that's the really frustrating bit, innit? James, a.k.a. Boring, says, if it's not more than 4, we'll be rinse and repeat. Agreed. 4 at least, James, in terms of first starting 11 players. Carol, who's been a member for 17 months, instead need a effing miracle next season. Thanks for doing the membership, and I think everybody gets that message, Carol. 100% we need something miraculous going into next season. We need 6 in the starting 11 and 5 for depth. That's the reality, and that will take us 2 seasons to get top 6. Look, I think United can make top 6 next season with the right signings. And you know what my signings are. You've known all along. I think United have got the chance of making these signings happen. Top 6 this season for Manchester United. You're bringing in Cunha. You're bringing in Gyökeres as a striker. You're getting Edison. You're getting yourself a new goalkeeper. If you bring in them 4 positions straight away, I think that gets United top 6 with what we've already got. Honestly, do think that is where United are at. And that, I think, has to be a necessity. 8, 10, 9, 1. Right wing back, I think we can just about cope. If there was one position I would want to lose out of all of them, it would be right wing back. But I do understand the need to bring somebody like somebody in that area in as well. I do get it. I do. Wing backs are key for Manchester United. It'd be interesting how the dynamic works when Diego Leon comes in and what he brings Manchester United on that left-hand side. Because if he's on the left-hand side, maybe Dorgu is the right-hand side option for Manchester United. I have no idea what he's thinking, Ruben Amorim, right now, but there is a possibility of that as well, because Leon is a signing that we've already made, and he's coming in the summer. Young, inexperienced, and nobody's getting convinced or carried away with it. I know. I'm just saying it for the sake of it and it being real and genuine, that's all. Let's keep that poll running. 70% of you now are saying United need more than 4 new players that will come straight into Manchester United starting 11. Wow. I watched our former goalkeeper at Torino all my life. He's 100 times better than Onana. They lost to Inter, but have been 12. I'm not sure what being 12 means. But yeah, obviously impressed. He is better. There's a lot of goalkeepers better than Andre Onana. That needs to happen. At least 5 we bought, 4 or 5 last summer, and look where we are. Look, 4 or 5, let's just say, in terms of starting 11 players. and what we bought last summer, all in areas that didn't really need to be overspent on, I don't think. But then again, looking at that centre-back situation now and what injuries we've got, maybe we did need to buy the 2 centre-backs we bought. I rate De Ligt. I rate Yoro. I rated Agate, but I'm having serious doubts about him now. I want him to do good, but he's hot and cold, and I'm really, really starting to get concerns about him. I like to give every player a bit of time, but I am seeing, like a lot of other people's, I think Carl was one of them who has always been on Manuel Agate, and credit to him for noticing that early doors. And I think it's just through not wanting to sound like an absolute tit or horrible bastard in writing players off so quickly. I've always said this. I've always wanted to give players 2 years, because I've seen it before. I've seen Evra and Vidic come into Manchester United mid-season and have an absolute nightmare. And then the next season, they turned into legends of this football club. Dorgu, the jury's out. Agate, the jury's out. I will give them 2 years, like every player. And that's what Manchester United should do. You're 2 years in, you're nearly enough, halfway through your contract. You're either starting to make discussions about renewing, or you're being sent packing. That's United's way, and that's how it needs to be, I feel. But Agate is a major concern for me. In terms of the players in the summer, Mazraoui, good signing, very good signing. De Ligt and Yoro, excellent signings. Them 3, I think, have strengthened Manchester United at the back. The fact that our forwards cannot score has really, really hampered our defensive performance this season on paper, because I think the stats are unfair on our defence. But the forwards are the ones. And Man United not investing in a forward this summer was absolutely criminal. And Xerxes is not a starting 11 player. Let's get that right from the start. So him, I don't think was a first 11 player. The other 4, Agate's the one that I'm most concerned about. Dorgu was brought in January. I can't judge him yet for reasons like I just said. Just coming into this melee. God help anybody. Heaven, good signing. Cheap. Could be a real steal for Manchester United. But yeah, that, when you look at it, is proof that you can get signings right. But if you don't invest in the right areas and your recruitment is off because you've not bought the right player, like, these are all good signings for United, but they've done nothing to help Manchester United's forward line at all. And that's where the investment was needed more, I think. I don't think, and this is why United, going into this summer, don't need to be buying centre-backs. Don't need to be going out buying defenders, I don't think. Sort that midfield and attack out, priority number 1, and change the effing goalkeeper. That's what I say anyway, and that is what is desperately needed at Manchester United. Let's get a few more comments in. Couple of supers. Manny again, legend, says, Agate looks like he's playing busted, but we have no depth. It's a good point. Forest went from 17th last season to top 6. We don't need to buy mega names, but we do need progressive players. Can we do a Forest? Anyone can do it. I mean, Forest are an example from last season. Of course you can make top 6. United can make top 6 next season. 100% we can. But it does come down to that recruitment and the players that comes in. It's as simple as that. Will one of them players be in the... come on, Adam, get your words out. Will one of them players be Semeno? Will one of them players be Nelson Semeno from Bournemouth? Now, reporters come out this morning, Manchester United are front runners for Semeno. We have said this before. I'm just keeping you updated on everything that's going on. Semeno is a target for Manchester United. Apparently, Ruben wants 2 10s, and Semeno is the other 10, alongside Matheus Cunha. If you brought in a striker, say for instance, like we said last night, it is the lap. You've got Semeno and you've got Cunha. I don't think the lap is the answer. I think he's a good striker. I'm happy with the price. I'm happy with the package. And I think it's the right move to make. You can compare him all you want to Rasmus Højlund, but he's less than half the price Rasmus Højlund was. And it's a good investment for Manchester United to get Delap. Delap, Cunha, Semeno as United's front line. Yeah. Please, that's a different ball game. And then you've got a decision to make, because you know what that does? That ultimately gives you the opportunity to sell Garnacho, to sell Bruno Fernandes, and recoup over 150 million quid into reforming Manchester United's midfield with top quality. If you wanted to move Bruno on, I personally, I'm happy for him to stay another year and then see what happens after that. But if that, I still don't believe the offer is genuine, and we've not heard a definite price from it yet. But if you were to say to me right now, And I'm just going to be completely honest with how everything is going and where Manchester United's finances are at and everything like that and what we need to do and them big, brave changes that I was talking about. And I'm not going to hide behind my love for certain players and what they've done and the effort they've put in for this football club. If that bid for Bruno Fernandes is real, it's anywhere over 100 million quid. You sell him, you sell Garnacho, you sell Rashford, Antony, Sancho, you get rid of them and refund that kitty and go out and buy the necessary players. And if you're replacing Bruno, and this is the problem you've got with Bruno, I was having a debate with Graham about this the other day. Like, you losing your captain. Who is your captain? Well, your captain automatically then goes to someone like Matthias de Ligt. That's your leader, that's your captain. Someone who leads by example and has got just as much, if not more, experience at the highest level of football than Bruno Fernandes. And I say that because he's been to Bayern Munich, played Champions League. He's been to Juventus, played Champions League football, full international. I don't have an issue with Matthias de Ligt being Man United's captain. I think that's a good move for Manchester United. Them leadership qualities and the love that we've all got for Bruno Fernandes, and everyone, even if you were a doubter of Bruno Fernandes, you still love him. You still love him and what he does and his effort and everything. And if we had 10 of him on the pitch, we wouldn't be in this shithole that we're in right now. But when I say Manchester United need to look at this transfer window and look at it properly, this is the sort of things that we're looking at. Bye-bye Garnacho, Maguire, Shaw. Bye-bye Dalot. Bye-bye Martinez, if you want as well. Anana, Rashford, Sancho, Antony. I'm talking players here that have been at this football club the last 5 years that have been the hot and cold players that turn up in certain moments, win as a cup. Well done, yes. But if you're looking for progression, if you're looking to move up, you're looking to be consistently up there in the top of the Premier League where United used to be, all of them players can go. Every single one of them can go. That's the significant summer. And you could be bringing in 10, 11 new players. It doesn't matter if them players aren't of the same quality that they have shown at times for Manchester United. It's if they are going to listen to Ruben Amorim. That is all that matters. So everything that I've just said, everything that we're talking about, what players we sell, how much money we make for them, what players come in, the quality of them players and where they've played before for their other clubs, what we can see recruitment-wise, scouting-wise, qualities, what they will bring if they can, and that's the big point here. If we need players that we know are going to work for Ruben Amorim, and that is the point that Ornstein was making, and this is why Ruben Amorim is going to be safe for Manchester United this summer. The jury and the decision makers will be sharpening knives and ready to cut Ruben's throat, metaphorically, and kick him out the door if he doesn't make something happen next season. And this is what we were talking about going up to Christmas. I think if we don't make what I've just said change-wise this summer, and we're still where we are now, or if we're not, if let's say for instance we're not even in the top half of the table come October, he's gone. I don't think anybody can stand for it. You're upping the prices of tickets. You're doing everything that you are doing, charging the fans more. Everything is going up. We're paying more and we're just getting nothing back. This is where it has to be harder hitting. This is where Manchester United really, really do need to sharpen up, I think. And if they're not brave this summer and they're massive cuts, like City have, like Liverpool have, like Arsenal have, that making massive, massive decisions, then you're just going to fester, you're going to rot, and you're just going to stay where you are, and you're just going to be the forgotten giants, and that's what it will be. Manchester United, that's where we'll be. Look where AC Milan are now, just about trying to come back after their fall. We cannot afford for this to happen. Adam, now you are talking. Sell everyone, says Al. Yet we need 2 players for every position in Amarim's system because it burns players out after 60 minutes. Look, I think we've got adequate academy players to come in. Manchester United cannot be thinking this summer going in, right, 2 players for every position is right, Stephen. I get your point there on that one. But we cannot be thinking we need to go out and buy someone who's going to cover for somebody else. Your priority has to be at least half a team starting 11 for Man United. And I'm talking 4 to 5 outfield players, new, that are better than what we've got starting. Then everything else that falls in line underneath that, I think we've got cover for just about. And do you know what I'm talking about here? You're talking about bringing in a striker and Rasmus being the man behind him. That's simple. I don't think anyone's got a problem with Rasmus now. Look, we have to stomach that 75 million balls up from Man United, but we're stuck with him. There's nothing we can do. We have to try and forget about that price tag and say what Rasmus is. Treat him as he is. He's a standing striker to come on for 20 minutes when the other striker has bust a gut in Ruben Amorim's system, like Stephen says in the chat right there. This is the only way that Manchester United can progress, accepting where these players are at. If you can't sell them, where they stand in the pecking order when it comes to the starting 11 at Manchester United and that matchday squad. Rasmus is a bench player. Garnacho is a bench player. Xerxes is a bench player. These are all starters for Man United that we're putting our hopes onto right now. I've just mentioned 4 there that don't belong anywhere near Man United starting 11. That's scary. And that's what we're hoping can get us over the line this season. That's ludicrous. It's absolutely ludicrous. Anyway, I'm going on with a lot of opinions here right now. Quickly, another super chat in from Manic Legend. Thank you, buddy. Really appreciate that. I suggest that people study how Amarim got Sporting from last to champions in one season. It's a case study for man management at the highest level. Bruno is part of the plan, says Mane. In terms of what else is going on, I've just mentioned Semeno there being a target for Manchester United. More importantly, the players that are leaving Manchester United. We touched on it last night, and if you weren't watching last night, the update from Chelsea's side of things and why the lap looks likely to be going to Manchester United is because they have open talks with Victor Osimhen. Now, the Sancho situation on top of that is that Chelsea are looking to afford Victor Osimhen and his wages, and Sancho not being on the books, not spending £25 million on him, as is obligated right now, sending him back to United with a £5 million penalty works better for them in affording players like Victor Osimhen. Talks are ongoing with Osimhen and Chelsea. Sancho looks likely to now be sent back to Manchester United, as we covered at weekend, but it is for Chelsea to start moving players in, and this is going to knock a lot of Man United fans. It's going to really piss people off because we don't want Sancho back, and we're getting our rejects sent back with no fee, and they're going to take the targets that we really wanted as well and the quality that we obviously need, and we're going to be with Liam Delap. It stinks and it hurts, I know, and you want more. Totally get it, but that's the situation that we're living with right now. The Champions League and being in it may change things dramatically for Manchester United. And this time next week, later on. So let's just say Thursday, Friday next week, after the final is done, we know where our season is finishing. We know what Manchester United are up against in the transfer window and whether we're going to be in the Champions League and blah-de-blah for next season. And we may be able to go back in for players like Osimhen or Gyökeres or some. Maybe. It's all I can say right now. But Chelsea's stance is a couple of wins, they're in the Champions League. United, 1 win, they're in the Champions League. It is going to come down to that. But Chelsea have already started moving and making things happen with Osimhen. They're pretty much guaranteed. Well, they're not guaranteed because Betis is going to be a tough game for Chelsea in that final. So if you win that, you're guaranteed Europa League. In fact, actually, Chelsea are guaranteed Europa League football and they're standing now in the league anyway. So they can offer Osimhen European football at least at this point right now, and they're going in with more talks. Regarding Antony and his situation, we talked yesterday about Barcelona coming in for Antony. Villarreal are also in for him as well. They can afford him. Like, the Betis situation is a very, very strange one. They are financially done for, it would seem. Even with Champions League qualification, Betis, apparently, according to the report I've read, are not financially secure enough to sign Antony on a permanent deal. They are negotiating with Manchester United right now, the reports are saying, for another loan deal. If this is the case, then I give up on Ruben. He needs the money now. If United are going to back Ruben Amorim, They need to demand a transfer fee for Antony this summer. Now, I've said before, a loan deal will work for Manchester United with Antony as long as the loan fee and all the wages are covered and the bonuses and an obligation at the end. We get more money. That's fine. I wasn't looking at it when I said that in Ruben Amorim's eyes. Ruben Amorim isn't going to last that long. Manchester United may not have a lot of money to spend this summer, like I've said at the top of the show. If Antony goes back out on loan, where is the money for Ruben Amorim to spend on another player this summer? That's not going to benefit Ruben at all. So if United are going to get behind this manager, if they are going to back Ruben Amorim, then they need to start moving players like Antony on. They need to start getting the money for him this summer and giving Ruben the funds that he needs this summer to make it happen. Now, Antony isn't going to give us a lot of money, even if we do sell him for 40 million. It's just going to cover the transfer fee. We're probably going to make around about 7 million-ish in profits at the time, with Antony being 3 years into his deal. But his wages are gone. But it does give Manchester United a lot of room to possibly bring in another player on slightly cheaper wages than Antony. And that's, if it is going to help Ruben Amorim, even that tiny little bit of help in being able to bring in a player because we haven't got Antony in our books, that's what United need to be busting a gut to do. Not loaning him back out again. So, yeah, Ornstein says Ruben's safe. Manchester United need Ruben to make something happen with what they're going to spend this summer. If you're talking about spending 100 million, I'm sorry, we're not going to get anywhere. And that's Ruben done for, because that's not enough. The minimum spend this summer has to be 200 million at least. And that's on 4 quality players to come into United starting 11. I think we can get 2 of them in Delap and Cunha out of the way. Then the other 2, you've got to decide where you go with it. Is it Semeno and Edison? If you get them 4 in, then United are looking different. I'm playing FIFA a little bit at the moment, and this is all sort of looking at possibilities and nothing definite yet. But again, it is coming down to that game next week in the Europa League final. If United get into the Champions League, everything changes. It really does. But Atletico Madrid are in talks with Manchester United as well, apparently. So that's some good news on the Antony situation. Villarreal are looking to buy Antony also. They're also in 5th place at the moment, holding that Champions League place. So Champions League for Villarreal could actually work out good. It could stay. And Juventus also. So there is 4 Spanish sides: Villarreal, Betis, Barcelona and Atletico Madrid all in for Antony, and Juventus as well. It bodes well in that sense that you possibly could make the deal happen out of one of them, surely. I mean, come on. You've got to be able to get one deal out of that. Right, I'm opening up the comment section to everything that we've spoken about right now. Adrian says, fans crying about Bruno. Fergie always rebuilt. That's how Manchester United became successful. Life goes on. Bruno only has 3 years left. Then he leaves for free. We aren't contenders to sell Bruno and rebuild. Nuke says, if there was a player that could come in and do what Bruno does, we'd already be looking at him. However, this fictitious player doesn't exist. Fictitious, I think that says. Sorry, I'm struggling to read the text there. Fictitious player doesn't exist. I want Antony gone, yet he's better than Semeno and Mbeumo. No, Ricardo, he's not. Ruben needs this summer, January and next summer to get his squad invigorated at a 3-phase plan. Phase 1, which should be at least 6 out and 6 in. If we don't see this kind of backing, Ruben should go. A lot of people saying that there. Love this show. I used to watch the Toxic one with Mr Arrogant on it. Glad I have found this. Brilliant. I'm on about the goldfish. Nick, welcome along, mates. You are more than welcome. Completely agree with you as well, buddy. And a lot of stuff there. Personal experience. Here's one, says Boxing. Why not sack this immature, naive, embarrassing manager and actually get someone who can get the best out of our squad? But, Boxing, wasn't we already talking about these players being the problem? And no matter what manager comes in, it's always the same. Wouldn't you like to see that significant change this summer and actually back a manager that has stood up to the regime and stood up to what has been wrong at Manchester United culturally wise. I would want to see something different, and different is Ruben. It definitely is. I've got my issues with what's going on the pitch. I said it after the game against West Ham. I don't want to be stood outside Old Trafford having sat through 90 minutes of pure shit week in, week out. I don't want that, no. But what I do see is what has happened behind the scenes, behind closed doors. And I want to see what he can do if given the same amount of time as the other managers have, first of all. That's what I want. I'm not ready for sacking a manager in the first 2 years. I think he will be if results don't get better, but I would like to give Ruben the same amount of time as what Ten Hag got and see what he can do. Look, if we win the Europa League next week and we're going into next season with Ruben with a trophy in the bag, he has give himself a little bit of time and a bit of credit, I feel, to at least get through next season, and then I think we should judge him. If he doesn't win the Europa League and Manchester United are struggling like we are now next season in the Premier League with no extra games in European football to deal with, Ruben will be gone before Christmas without a doubt. Without a doubt. But a lot of the United fan base will then turn and say, well, why didn't Manchester United back Ruben Amorim? Why have we not got this manager what is necessarily needed? I actually agree. As much as I appreciate Amarim coming early, I just can't get over the amount of losses this season in the league. I would say it would be prudent to pull the trigger this time. I get it. I do understand what you're all saying. But again, Manchester United being able to afford to sack Ruben Amorim, again, it's another embarrassment for the club. I know the necessaries, but who comes in if you get rid of Ruben Amorim as well? That's what we've got to look at. Who comes in? If it's not Ruben's fault, It's not Ruben's fault if City wanted him. I'm not sure what that even means. Europa or not, Ruben needs 2 seasons. It's so bloody obvious we are that stupid. Manny going straight in on the chat there on that one. Updates on everything else that's going on. Now, you've seen the stories going around about Manchester United not giving tickets to the staff for the final. Players can buy up to 15 tickets themselves for family and friends, but it is up to the players to make sure that they get to the stadium and the venue safely. So, down to the players to buy the tickets, to then fund their friends and family instead of the club spending money on that. Now, obviously that's different, and the comparison straight away has been that PSG are sending and buying 600 staff members and taking them to the final in Munich for the Champions League. That's what everyone's comparing Man United to. Look, I get it, it sounds like we're being stingy, but wasn't everybody complaining about how many dignitaries were actually at these finals before? And like how many tickets went to people that weren't real supporters? They were just friends and family, or they were like VIPs or whatever. Like, a lot of tickets go to non-fans. Manchester United's stand on this is that they want to give as many of the 15,000 tickets available to the club to actual supporters. Now, I do get behind that. I haven't really got a problem with this side of things. When it comes to Manchester United, it just looks like we're being tightwads again, with PSG taking 600 staff members to the final. To be honest, I'd be a little bit pissed off if 600 tickets were going to staff members and they weren't going to fans. Like, the staff are paid to do a job. I'm sorry. Yeah, you could say it's a bonus and it's a little bit of a reward, but what about the fans that are paying their wages? Why are they not given the opportunity to go to the final? That's always been my stance on finals. I hate it. I hate the FA Cup final and the allocation that you get because of all the dignitaries and bollocks that goes into the VIPs and executive sections. Like, no, let the fans have the chance to buy first. And if there's anything available, then everybody else can pile in as well. We're the ones that have been there week in, week out, watching, spending money, following the team. And all of a sudden, because the big shiny trophy comes out, all of the VIPs come out for a day out. Bollocks. I don't agree with that. And I haven't got a problem with United's stance on this either, to be honest. And people can compare them to PSG all they want, but from both sides of it, I don't agree. Like, PSG's, like, I'd be pissed off if I was a PSG fan. Sod the staff. 600 don't need to be going to a final. I'm sorry. Give the chance to the fans is what I say. Amorim is the first man signed. The rest are optional. I'm sure. Thanks for the super chat, man. I don't know where you're going with that one there, buddy. But I guess I'm thinking that Ruben Amorim's signed by Ineos and everything else. I actually still don't know what you mean by that one, mate. But thanks for the super chat anyway. One of the things that needs to be changed is the midfield department. It is not normal to have so many injuries to players that there have never been 3 games with the same team. So it is also impossible. Yeah, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? How Eddie Howe gets them players at Newcastle to absolutely run through brick walls non-stop for a full 90 minutes, week in, week out, and not get as many injuries as what the likes of Manchester United. Like, their intensity in Newcastle, the intensity in their game is absolutely frightening. It really is. They just blow teams away just through what they do. Like, just the effort that they put in and how intense their game is. They blow teams away. There's nothing spectacular about Newcastle, but everybody's on board with what Eddie Howe wants. And they will give absolutely everything. I don't think Manchester United have got them players in our squad. They really haven't. But they're mentally strong as well. And they can handle that intensity. Because it's intense on the mind as it is on the body as well. Please do give the video a like if you're loving the content, everybody. That should get us well over 300, around 1,700 in the room of us right now. Absolutely buzzing with the numbers again. Your participation has been immense, everybody. Quickly, just wanted to give you all a shout and a chance to jump onto our partners' football prizes. Their latest prize this week. You could win this signed frame Sir Alex Ferguson shirts. The link is in the description under football prizes. Some of the mods will drop it into the live chat right now. This is this month's prize, and you can win this for as little as 99p. Now, if you go onto the community tab on the YouTube channel here on Forever United TV, you'll see more details on this and other prizes involved in this as well. Spot prizes with a few other players and famous players, signed frame shirts. Everything from football prizes is fully authenticated and comes with a certificate of authenticity. So it is the genuine article. I have got one myself. I know it's genuine. They are the real deal. 99p a ticket. That's all it is, everybody. Spend to your means. Obviously, don't overspend. But for 99p, you might as well give it a go. Use that code, use that link, in the description and in the live chat to grab yourself a chance of winning that mega prize. They are one-off, absolute blockbuster prizes, them ones. Absolutely brilliant. So, Alex Ferguson, oh, God, what we would give to have someone like that back in at Manchester United right now. And I'm not getting rid of Ruben Amorim on the back of that, but to have characters again, to have real people in at Manchester United, I think Sir Alex Ferguson would be right behind Ruben Amorim on what he's doing, and now he's trying to change things. Let's not forget the shit that Fergie had to do when he first came in, and Manchester United were on their asses when he came in. He had to change a lot. I know it's a different era, and I'm not even going to use it as a comparison right now, but still, I think Fergie would be right behind him trying to change the culture and everything that's going on wrong behind the scenes. By the way, we have had over 1,500 votes. How many players do United need to bring into the starting 11 to make top 6 next season? 2 players, 2% of the vote. 3 players, 4% of the vote. You can see where this is going. 4 players, 25% of the vote. And more than 4, 68% of you have said United need more than 4 bleeding players to get this team moving again, to just make top 6. Now, that is a real statement of where this fan base is feeling this football club is at right now. If anything, that there tells you everything. 5 players minimum, half a team, starting 11, to get just in the top 6 next season. That's how far behind we have. Just to recap on everything that I said at the top of the show, if you have just joined us right now, thank you, everyone. Get involved in the chat. Manchester United stand to lose approximately 23 million compared to last season from their Premier League position alone. So dropping down to 17th is going to lose us 23 million in Premier League prize money. So already down there. And this is a season without Champions League money to back it up as well. If United do win the Europa League final, they stand to make another 12 million for that. But Manchester United's finances, if we don't win the Europa League, are really concerning. And the point I was making early doors was, would this actually be better because it would force Manchester United to sell players and make a significant change instead of plastering over another gaping crack within Manchester United by winning another trophy? I want to win trophies. I don't want United to ever lose a game. But I said that earlier on, subconsciously there's a part of me that is intrigued to see what Man United do if we don't win the Europa League. How we go about this window and what happens. Will we get rid of them players to fund other players coming in? And I've mentioned quite a few players there. I honestly do not care. I wouldn't lose sleep if any single one of them Man United current squad is sold, apart from the likes of Ahmad and Yoro and players that are just coming into the side. I think it's unfair on them right now. They need a little bit more time. But everybody else that has been at the club 5 years and more, 3 years, 2 or 3 years and more, to be honest. That's where my standard is at right now. I wouldn't lose any sleep whatsoever. But yeah, Manchester United are front runners for Nelson Semeno as part of that project to bring in another 10, so 2 10s coming into Manchester United. That story is floating around this morning as well. There is no fewer than 6 clubs in for Antony right now, but Betis are trying to still negotiate another loan deal for Antony with Manchester United. It is ridiculous. We cannot afford for that to happen. We really can't. Sancho is going to be sent back to Man United by all accounts. Chelsea's reporting now opening talks with Osimhen, and to help fund that, obviously Sancho coming back is going to be a big deal for them. But they're opening talks with Osimhen, another Man United target. It looks like he's going elsewhere. We said last night this is probably why United are now favourites to get hold of Delap, because Arsenal are going for Gyökeres, Chelsea are going for Osimhen, United, we're getting Delap. That's probably what is happening for Manchester United right now, in reality, anyway. So, yes, great chat this morning, everybody. Fantastic involvement from you all. Please do get involved in the Football Talk football prizes. I will be back later on as well with updates. It is going to be an earlier show this evening because I have Alfie's Cup final tonight at FC United, at the stadium, FC United. If anyone is wanting to watch a game football in the stadium, it's free to enter. Come along and get behind the under-18 lads. And yeah, playing our Cup final tonight. I will be there, so I'm leaving. I'll be leaving early, but yeah, earlier show tonight. It's probably going to be around about the 5:30 sort of time, everybody, as well, later on tonight, just to keep you fully updated. I will put a post out later on as well, just to confirm everything time-wise. But yes, big night tonight, massive night, really nervous, but yeah, fingers crossed. Like, it's Cup final weeks now, isn't it? End of the season is here, domestically and in the big game itself. So yeah, if anyone isn't doing anything, yeah, come along. FC United, free to enter tonight, 8 o'clock kickoff. Whew, big one. Anyway, thank you, new members. Thank you, anyone who's just subscribed to the channel. This is Forever United TV. I'm Adam. Give the video a like on the way out. Well over 300 of you have done that already, which is mega. And make sure you hit that subscribe button as well, everybody, to keep up to date with everything going on with your beloved Manchester United. Mods and members in the chat for helping out. Thank you. You are all absolute legends. I love you all. And that is us done for now. I'll see you all later on. Keep up to date on the community post with everything. I'll keep you fully updated on how today's content is going. But for now, that's it. Cheers.